So we're gonna go meet with Hagrid at the lake. Good to see you. Thanks for coming down. You said you had a new creature you wanted to show me. That's right. It's around here somewhere. For Kelpie. Well, a Kelpie. A wild one at that. Hardly ever seen such a spirited creature. I've seen a lot. I'll arrange for you to get a proper abduction. Don't even think about trying to hide the Kelpie. If you get on it now, it will try to eat you. Thanks for the warning. Poor little one, it can't help what's in its nature, but right now it's a bit dangerous to be around. You said its old owner donated it to Hogwarts. Poor guy tried to avoid it and almost got drowned and eaten. He donated it in hopes to find it a happier home. They are known for trying to lure travelers into riding them. That's when they drag them down to a watery grave. My sentiments exactly. That's why I wanted to introduce the two of you. You have got to such a nice way with creatures. I was hoping you could try and form a bond with it. Spirited Kelpie like this would make a fine addition to the reserve, but if it stays like this, someone will get hurt. If we can find a way to tame it, I know it will be much happier here at Hogwarts. Well, we certainly can't have that. Of course, I'll help. We need to make sure this Kelpie is safe, and that everyone else is too. The faster we can tame the Kelpie, the better. Letting it stay wild like this is asking for trouble. If the two of you become friends, it may even be safe enough to ride without it trying to eat you. Don't you think riding a Kelpie would be fun? Yes, I think it'd be brilliant. Let's hope you can get your wish. I'm a big fan of that sort of thing, but if you get a chance to ride a Kelpie, I'll be rooting for you. There's no sure way to prove that the Kelpie is tamed and riding it. If you can do that, we'll know it's safe enough to stay at Hogwarts. That's a good idea. Me own Kelpie knowledge is a bit rusty. We may be missing a trick. Then I'd better get going. And let's go to the library. Not the library, actually, the lake show. Watch you. Hello, thanks for meeting me. When I heard that the reserve had a new Kelpie, I knew I had to get involved. And look who's come to join us. Hey, it's the Kelpie. Is he at the Black Lake? But how? The waters must connect in to the reserve somehow. At least the Kelpie has plenty of room to roam. But that's all the more reason to tame it as quickly as possible before it tries to drown and eat someone. But bit of a shame, really. I think it'd be brilliant to ride a Kelpie. I told Hagrid the same thing. Apparently, that he thinks riding the Kelpie is the best way to prove that it has became successfully tamed. I've collected every book about Kelpies that I could find. There's got to be something in here that could help us. Let's get started. I think we have got it. Did you see the same fact I did? What's the most effective way to tame a Kelpie? You can tame a Kelpie by putting a bridle over its head. Well done, you really know your creatures. If we can place a bridle on the Kelpie, we'll render it harmless, and it won't try to drown anyone. Then we need to find ourselves a bridle or make one. Why not? This is a special creature. It should have a special bridle too. And I know someone who has a gift for making things that are most stylish and functional. Andre Egu. Fashion a bridle. The boathouse. That's my favorite coast breaker. Good to see you again. Thanks for meeting me and agreeing to help. You know me. I can't turn down a design challenge, especially if it's for magical creatures. The prospect of creating a bridle that could tame a Kelpie was too good to pass up. Were you able to make a bridle for the Kelpie? I've nearly finished one that is both stylish and functional. It will be sturdy enough to withstand the Kelpie's power and fashionable enough to hold up against any threat. We wouldn't want our Kelpie's bridle to go out of style. Oh, Chen, fuck. So dyslexic. So fucking dumb. But there's one issue. I need to be sure that the bridle is fitted properly to ensure maximum comfort for both Kelpie and rider. I won't be able to finish the bridle until I can get a closer look at the Kelpie. I wouldn't want the poor creature to be uncomfortable in an ill-fitting bridle. Perhaps could call Kelpie over here so we can take its measurements. You aren't worried that Kelpie will try to eat you. Style is always risky. Coastbreaker, and I'll have you to protect me. You do have a way with creatures. Kelpie and I are starting to get to know each other, but we should make this quick. I'll keep it occupied while you take Kelpie's measurements. Now I have done it. I have finished the bridle. Take a look. What do you think about the new bridle? I love it. That will be a perfect bridle for the Kelpie. I feel the same. This may be one of my finest creations. I even used a special material that emulates the Kelpie's bullishness. Man, you're a design genius. I can't wait to see the bridle on the Kelpie. Why don't you try to put it on the Kelpie? Thanks, Andre. If this works, we can ensure that Kelpie is safe and happy at Hogwarts. Alright, here goes. How'd that fit on her? Oh, she walked away. Where you going? It wasn't Kelpie's style after all. I don't think style was the problem. I should have known it wouldn't be easy to put a bridle on the Kelpie. Thanks again for your help. No problem. I'm always happy to help out in fashion emergency. I'll go talk to Hagrid. How things going with the Kelpie? We are making progress. I've been strengthening my bond with the Kelpie, and we learned that the most effective way to tame a Kelpie is with a bridle. Why didn't I think of that? But there's a problem. I can't seem to get the Kelpie to actually wear it. I wouldn't try to force something like that on a Kelpie. Could be dangerous. I know I'm not sure what to do next. I was hoping you would have some advice. Let's put our heads together. Perhaps there's something we haven't considered yet. I may help to ask someone who's got more experience with Kelpies than us. I seem to remember there's being another Kelpie somewhere else at Hogwarts. There may be a Kelpie in one of the clubhouses, but which one? Which clubhouse is all about magical creatures? The Hippogriff Club. Because if I'm not mistaken, there's a Kelpie in the Hippogriff Club. I knew you'd get it. Maybe there's someone in the Hippogriff Club who could help us. If they have been keeping a Kelpie this whole time, they may know how to get a bridle on it. I can't believe I didn't think of this before. I'm actually a member of the Hippogriff Club. Then you should have no trouble getting in. Best hurry though, this Kelpie is pretty, what? Then I'd better get going. Yeah, just go talk to Barnaby. Oh, I guess we're talking to Tonks. Watcher. Hello, thanks for meeting me. Thanks for letting me into your clubhouse. You said that this was to help a magical creature. And trying out Penny's experimental potions. Everyone's here is eager to help. Penny even dug up a Hippogriff Club's old records. Great, maybe we can find a clue that could help us place a bridle on the Kelpie. That way we can ensure that it will be as safe and happy at Hogwarts. There's so much to love about Kelpies, that their strength, their abilities, their murderous nature. What do you think? What do you admire most about Kelpie? The murderous nature. I totally agree. You have to respect a creature that knows what it wants, even if it wants to lure people into water graves. Thank you for sharing. Knowing why we love magical creatures is important to understand our relationships with them. This Kelpie seems quite gentle compared to Kelpie. It's been here a long time. It doesn't even need a bridle anymore. Perhaps the same will be true for your Kelpie one day. And then let's start digging into the club records. According to these records, Hippogriff Club members use a special charm. I found a record that mentions the placement charm in relation to the Kelpie. You think the Hippogriff Club members use the placement charm to put the bridle on the Kelpie? We haven't learned the placement charm yet, but it sounds like the spell we need. But where could you learn a spell like that? In that case, I'll go right to the search. If anyone at Hogwarts knows the placement charm, if it's our charms teacher, Professor Flitwick. Hello, Professor Flitwick. Hello there. I heard you were interested in learning a very special charm. I want to learn the placement charm so I can use it to place a bridle on the Kelpie. That will allow us to tame it and make sure it's safe to stay at Hogwarts. Your adventures are as fascinating as ever. The placement charm is one of my favorites. I'd be glad to teach it to you. I appreciate it, and I think the Kelpie will too. Splendid. Now watch closely. I think I'm starting to get it. I agree. I think you're ready to try casting the placement charm on your Kelpie. With this, we are closer than ever to taming the Kelpie, and not a moment too soon. Before you go, let me ask you something. What's driving you to tame Kelpie? I want to help Kelpie have a secure and happy home at Hogwarts. Everyone deserves a home. Why should a Kelpie be any different? But the only way to do that is to tame it with the bridle so it doesn't pose a threat to itself or others. That's wonderful. I can't think of anything better to use for the placement charm than that. I wish you luck in your efforts, but remember, placing the bridle on the Kelpie is only part of what you'll need to truly tame it. Only a powerful bond of friendship with a Kelpie will ensure your success. I suggest you spend so much time with your Kelpie as possible before attempting to put it on. Very well, let me know when that moment comes. It should be quite the spectacle. Tame the Kelpie. If you perform the charms as we practice, I'm confident you will succeed. Hello. Everyone's here excited to see you tame the Kelpie. But I think we're really ready. If I can place the bridle on the Kelpie, we'll know that they will be happy and safe here at Hogwarts. Professor Flitwick and I are here. We won't let it eat you. Thanks, I appreciate it. How do you feel about your chances of success? Quite confident. I've done everything possible to ensure our success. We have prepared a sturdy bridle, and I have built up Create a strong friendship with Kelpie. I have loaned a new charm to put the bridle on Kelpie. Sounds like you have done all you can, and all that's left is to place the bridle. If you succeed again the bridle on Kelpie, we will be in good shape. But if it's fully tamed, they may even let you take a ride. It would be a great sight to see. We'll be rooting for you from the show. Placement charm. It worked. Come on, Kelpie, let's go for a ride. Yeehaw! Good job, Kelpie. That was amazing. You tamed the Kelpie and even took it for a ride. Thanks, Hagrid. I couldn't have done it without everyone's help. You said that riding a Kelpie would be brilliant before. Now that you have ridden for real, was riding the Kelpie what you expected? It was absolutely brilliant. More brilliant than I originally thought. What a thrill. It made me glad to see the two of you out there enjoying yourselves. Kelpie's really fully tamed. Now that it's tamed, we won't have to worry about Kelpie trying to eat anyone anymore. I can relax knowing that he will be happy and safe to be around. Our creature's got to be true to itself like people. Thanks to your efforts, we have got one more magical creature with a loving home here. Like this, we're gonna do the gnome, the rogue gnome. Which one was it? Meet Hagrid, Castle Grounds. Meet Hagrid. Meet with Hagrid. Meet Hagrid. I assume it's this one. Now, let's just see. Thanks for coming. Your message sounds needed urgent. We have a situation on our hands. Has discovered a gnome infestation at Hogwarts. Since you have a gnome of your own, I figured you'd be happy to help de-gnome the area safely. Thank you for thinking of me. I'm the right wizard for the job. I even have a de-gnoming experience. Is this a reason we don't simply let Flinch take care of the problem? Only cares about solving the problem by any means necessary, not about the creatures themselves. I'm afraid we are in a bit of a dilemma. If we can't remove the gnomes fast enough, or we are too fast and miss even one, Flinch will step in. When de-gnoming, which is more important to speed or safety. Won't have much patience, but we need to focus on the safety of the gnomes. And precisely why I came to you'll protect the creatures no matter what. Let's go over the various de-gnoming techniques. It sounds like picking up and throwing the gnomes is the best de-gnoming technique. It smells safer than releasing a Javi, but we'll have to be efficient. If we work together, we should be able to get the job done. We better hurry if we want to de-gnome the Hogwarts before Flinch does. You think I should bring my gnome with us? That's a brilliant idea. Your gnome will be able to keep the others calm. Meet me in the training grounds when you are ready. Damn! Look at all those gnomes. And I see you brought the fun. It will come in handy when we are de-gnoming. Look at the training grounds. They are a mess. As you can see why Flinch is so upset. These gnomes can be quite a nuisance. Wish they didn't have to swear so much though. Only if someone teaches them. Doing don't go getting any ideas. Let's stay focused on the task at hand. Let's safely denome the chain grounds. We did it. We denomed the Hogwarts. That we did. It seems your gnome is trying to tell us something. There's one gnome left, and a nasty little bugger. It's missing an ear. They do swear, nasty little bugger. Indeed, come here. What do you think you're doing? We were trying to help with your gnome infestation problem. You called us help, you let that foul gnome with a missing ear get away. And it looks to me like you're in league with those creatures. This is my gnome. It has nothing to do with this infestation. You want to tell me what you were trying to do? We wanted to take care of the gnome safely without resorting to dangerous methods. Lots of good that's done you. Now I have got a rogue gnome running loose. You should have left it to me. Me and Hagrid were just trying to do the right thing. Tried and failed, I'd say. Now I have to clean up your mess. I'll release a Javi on the grounds. That will take care of the rogue gnome once and for all. You can't. That's too violent. These creatures deserve a chance to be relocated safely. I've already had one plane fail spectacularly. I won't have hear another out of you. We simply need a little more time. Releasing a Javi will only make a bigger mess for you. I'll give you one more chance to catch that rogue gnome, but if you fail this time, I will release that Javi. Alright, that rogue gnome could be anywhere on the Hogwarts ground. I'll reach out to some friends. I'll send for you if I find the gnome. I ran into Hagrid. I'll let you know if I run into any gnomes. Thanks for meeting me. What's going on? There's a gnome infestation at Hogwarts, but there's one rogue gnome left. If we can't safely remove it from the grounds, Flinch will release a Javi. This rogue gnome needs a new place to stay. Even if we catch it, I'm not sure what we could do with it. We can't let Flinch let a Javi loose. Let's figure out. It sounds like the bowl is the safest place for a gnome. I have to denome the bowl's garden all the time, but they always come back. Probably because my dad is soft on them. He finds them amusing. Perhaps we can move the rogue gnome to the bowl. But we can't put this rogue gnome in the garden without permission. We'll have to convince your parents. You'll never convince Mom. But you may be able to convince Dad. It's best if you do it without me. Dad's mad at me for accidentally breaking the Muggle artifact. You can convince Arthur on your own. I can do it. If Arthur finds gnomes amusing, all I have to do is bring my gnome with me. Brilliant thinking. If you can get your gnome to make Arthur laugh, he'll definitely let the rogue gnome in. He just so happens to be at Hogwarts as we speak. He's in the search for a Muggle item in the artifact room to replace the one I broke. I'll go there now. Let's go meet his dad, Arthur Weasley. The G. Hi, Mr. Weasley. Delightful to see you again. And who do we have here? This is my gnome. I always puts a smile on my face. Muggles have something called a lawn gnome. They look nothing like the real thing, though. But I'm sure you aren't here to hear me prattle on about Muggle artifacts. and I was hoping you might be able to help me. There was a gnome infestation here at Hogwarts. Hagrid and I cleared all but one gnome. If we can't relocate the rogue gnome, Flinch will release a Jarvie. How may I help? I'm confident once we find the gnome, we could catch it, but we'll need a place for it to relocate it. I was wondering if you could allow us to place the gnome in your garden. I would like to help, but I'm afraid Molly won't go for it. She finds gnomes as much less amusing than I do. In fact, she finds them downright dreadful. If we don't find a home for the gnome, it will be a serious trouble. Perhaps my gnome and I can convince you. What's that gnome doing? Oh. Gnome is an absolute gas. It's uncovered the blender I was looking for. I can't say no to that face. I'm not sure if I should tell Molly. Tell her the truth, I wouldn't want anyone to get in trouble for helping. Even though she may not notice, it's been best to keep Molly apprised of the situation. It's settled and the rogue gnome can stay at the burrow. Aren't you getting ahead of yourself? You're alright, I still have the gnome to catch. Your son Charlie is the gnome expert. I'll go find the rogue gnome. Meet with Charlie. I'm glad you're here. I tracked the rogue gnome here to the Chaos Magical Creatures classroom. Those dope piles are fresh. The gnome must be still in this area. From what you have told me, this rogue gnome is quite clever. We'll need a sound strategy to draw it out. How do you want to get the gnome's attention? Nah, I got it. I'll dance. The rogue gnome will get so confused. It should be easy to grab. But I can't wait to see you try. Alright, whenever you're ready, I'll grab the rogue gnome the moment it pops up. Let's draw this gnome out. I missed it. Your dancing drew it out to the surface, but I wasn't fast enough. Do you think the rogue gnome knows what we are up to? It's smaller than we thought. You're right, we'll have to come up with a better way to capture the gnome. It seems like we won't be able to grab this gnome with our bare hands. Perhaps there's a spell that will work. We would need something that immobilizes the gnome and makes it easier to carry. It would certainly be easier to transport the gnome if it were anything other than a gnome. I'll visit Professor McGonagall and see if she knows the charm. But first, I'll need to spend more time with my gnome. If this plan is to work, we'll need its help. Hello, gnomes. Hi, Professor. I assume by the presence of your guests, you aren't here for a social visit. There's a rogue gnome loose on the school grounds. If I can't safely transport it from Hogwarts, Flinch will release a Jarvie. I tried drawing the gnome out by dancing, but we weren't able to grab it. The gnome is a bit too clever to be caught. You had the right idea to try and draw the gnome out, but perhaps it needs something more familiar to make it feel more comfortable. Now that I've formed a strong bond with my gnome, it can help us. I still need a way to safely transport the gnome once we catch it. Do you know of any transfiguration spells that could make the rogue gnome easier to move? There just so happens to be a spell called Gnomes to Lawn Gnomes. It safely turns a gnome into a harmless muggle lawn ornament. Once I've moved it, I'll be able to change it back. Now listen closely and I'll... Oh, I have taught you all I can about the Gnomes to Lawn Gnomes. All that's left for you to do is practice on my gnome. Suddenly it appears you and your gnome have developed quite a bond. I trust you will keep it safe. Staying still, gnome. This will only take a moment. Jesus. Wish soup de loop. I did it. Congratulations. Thank you for your help. I'm always pleased to help out a good cause. I should check in with Charlie. He's been searching for the rogue gnome. Before you go, you may want to transfigure your alarm gnome back. Come on, gnome, let's catch that rogue gnome once and for all. Thanks for tracking down the rogue gnome. Just had to follow the sound of Coulson. I'm ready to cast Gnomes to Lawn Gnomes. Let's go over the plane one more time. And once you have a clear shot, cast Gnomes to Lawn Gnome. And we'll safely transport the gnome to the bow. I truly feel bad and sorry. I hardly recognize the pitch after the gnomes have gone and done through. I wish golden snitches were half as easy to come by as these gnomes. I have assembled you all here today for one single lesson. That the gnome this pitch reason wants to restore us to the former gnome-free glory, so our season may resume. There are only 7 of us and so many gnomes. Do you really believe we will be able to rid the pitch of all of them? We are the Gryffindor Quidditch team. We can do anything we set our minds to. And with the acting captain like you, I'm willing to believe it. There's just one problem. Most of us have no idea how to go about denoming the pitch. Lucky for you, our very own Sky Parkin is an excellent gnome tossing instructor. Now, you lot pay close attention. We're going to show you how to the proper way to toss a gnome. We got it. Cast a spell. With my gnome staying next to it, I can't tell the difference. Wasn't there something unique about the rogue gnome? I remember it's missing an ear. Let's look closely to find a gnome without an ear. Pretty obvious to me. Cast a spell. Gnome to lawn gnome. You're playing well, great job. Looks like another total failed plane to me. No, that's my gnome, you bitch. You didn't solve the problem, I still see a gnome. We have been over this is my gnome. Prove it. I just used the gnome to lawn gnomes spell to transfigure the rogue gnome. Then rogue gnome was missing an ear, look. Suppose your plan did work, but only because I motivated you to work harder. Your plan was so good, even Flinch hadn't to acknowledge it. Now there's just one thing left to do. Let's transfer the wood gnome to the bowl. Release the gnome! Here we are, the wood gnome's new home. Thank Mullen for gnomes to lawn gnomes. I would have never wanted to travel with that cranky cussing gnome. Dad took your advice and told Mom about the wood gnome. She gave him an earful. She was glad he told her, though. She knew his intentions were good. There you are. What are you doing here? Just ran into Flinch. She was sour mood, mumbling somewhat about a gnome and the bowl. Caught the wood gnome, turned it into a lawn gnome so we can bring it here. That's a brilliant plan. We can't take all the credit. Gnome was a big help every step of the way. Your gnome deserves some recognition for helping. Gnome really appreciates all our compliments. It deserves them. You deserve recognition too. Your decision to focus on safety of the creatures gave you the advantage over Flinch. Now you leave that gnome looking like a muggle decoration. I'll turn the lawn gnome back into the gnome. Well, it's back to normal. Welcome to your new home. Looks like you could use a little encouragement. Dig all the holes you want. Your gnome really is a great help, and it's all thanks to the bomb you phone. I'm glad I could help you keep the gnome safe. I can always count on you to show compassion for the creatures. Well, now that quest, let's go. Now, let's do